This summer, my miniature Dachshund gave birth to two beautiful baby girls. In this video, we're going to be showing their life from birth to about 8.5 weeks of age. She gave birth at day 61, which is average for dogs. Usually the gestation period can be anywhere from 60 to 65 days, with it being slightly longer in larger breed dogs. This was her first litter. She showed very strong maternal instincts. She knew exactly what to do. She was licking them. She was making sure the umbilical cord was cut. She made sure they were nice and warm and that they would have a suckle. The second puppy was born 45 minutes after the first puppy. This was a red dapple baby girl. The first one was a black and tan girl. Miniature Dachshunds have an average litter size of 4 to 5 puppies. This was her first litter at age 3, and so she only had 2 puppies. The birth weight can be very variable in dogs depending on breed, but as a guide, it's 3 to 5% of the non-pregnant dam's weight. So this dog usually weighs 4.8 kilos, and so that would give the puppies a birth weight of 190 grams. The first puppy weighed 182 grams and the second one weighed 227 grams. This is now the next day. You can see the bellies are much fuller, they're much better at suckling. She's also much more relaxed than she was at the beginning. She pretty much stayed with the puppies the first few days. I had to carry her outside into the garden for her to do her toileting, and she just wanted to go straight to the puppies, so she was an absolutely fantastic mother. It's important to monitor the weight gain of the puppies to make sure that they're getting enough milk. As a guide, the birth weight should double after about 8 days. The daily weight gain can be calculated by using the guide of 5 grams per day per kilogram of the anticipated adult body weight. So if we use the mother's adult weight of 4.8 kilos, that would give 24 grams that the puppies should gain every day. It's important that the puppies suckle every 2 hours for the first 2 weeks. eyelids open at 10 to 14 days. However, focusing can take 3 to 4 weeks. The iris is blue or grey initially, and the colour will change at 4 to 6 weeks of age. The external auditory canals, aka the ears, open also at around 2 weeks. Puppies will respond to loud noises before 2 weeks of age. The shivering reflex will only take place after 1 week. Spontaneous urination and defecation occurs at 3 weeks of age. At 4 weeks of age, the puppies were starting to become more independent and inquisitive. They were starting to enjoy looking at new things, trying to step outside of their comfort zone. So when they were in the garden, they were leaving the blankets and going onto the grass, which they hadn't done previously. The mum was always close by, keeping an eye on them to make sure they didn't wander off too far. As the puppies are having a little drink, you can see that the milk teeth have already come out and they are very sharp. You can see that the mother is always making sure that the puppies are nice and clean and safe. So even though she's distancing herself a little bit more and giving them some independence, as soon as one squeaks, she's always there making sure that everything is okay, that they're nice and clean. Dogs had a puppy run to keep them safe and to prevent them from eating things that they shouldn't eat or chewing on cables, which could cause injury. I used a plastic sheet at the bottom, which would help with the hygiene and make sure I could disinfect everything well. I also made sure to use different blankets and towels and surfaces so they would be used to walking on different things. They had their bed, which was their safe place, so if they were tired and they wanted to have a nap, they would go in there by themselves. They would also make them used to going to bed later on. Later I put in a little box as well, so to help with the box training, which would become very useful. Here the mum is teaching her babies how to play. She's being very gentle, encouraging them to move, to play with her, although they're using this as an opportunity to have a quick drink. As the puppies are growing, their demand for milk is also increasing. It's important to ensure that the mum is still producing enough milk, so weighing the puppies would give a hint whether or not they're getting enough calories. It's also important to make sure she doesn't have mastitis, and you can do that by just gently rubbing on her mammary glands, making sure there's no heat, no swelling, that it's not painful to touch them. You can also express a little bit of milk and just making sure that the colour is a nice healthy white colour. There shouldn't be any pink or red discharge, and it definitely shouldn't hurt the mum when the mammary glands are being touched. Now the puppies are 5 weeks old and socialization is very important. So I made sure to introduce them to other dogs that I know were very well natured, just to get them used to other animals. I also took them to different places, so I had this really handy bag that I could pop them in, which was quite easy because I only had 2 puppies. It would be more difficult to do if you had a litter of 12, but seeing as I only had 2, I was able to take them walking so they could get used to seeing traffic, seeing other dogs when we were on a walk. Now they are also starting to eat solid food, so they had a combination of puppy kibble as well as wet food. So the wet food at this stage was more like mousse consistency, which was quite easy for them to eat. Now at 6 weeks they have definitely gained weight. The black and tan puppy now weighs 1.25 kilos and the red dapple puppy weighs 1.56 kilos. So the bigger puppy usually gains around 200 grams a week and the smaller puppy averaged around 160 grams a week. I would take the puppies with me to work, which was great for their socialization because it meant that they were used to traveling in the car, they were box trained, and they also met other people, so they weren't just used to me and their mother. Now the dogs are starting to look a lot more like Dachshund puppies. The nose has become a lot longer and the bodies are definitely more sausage-like than they were when they were very young. They're much more powerful now, they're much more inquisitive, they want to play a lot more, they're sleeping less than they did initially, and they're starting to have regular meal times. They are also starting to understand what puppy pads are, and they are using the white washable pad to do their business on more frequently. Now the puppies are 7 weeks old and they are really starting to look like little dogs. They are really inquisitive and love to explore. To ensure that the puppies are healthy, a lot of planning has to be done beforehand. Only dogs without any hereditary defects and that have good behavioral traits should be bred. Each breed will have specific requirements that the Kennel Club will want in order for the dogs to be bred. So the Dachshunds need to be DNA tested, they have to pass a behavioral test and also an eye test done by a certified eye specialist. They also have to go to a breed show and have to be inspected by breed judges. Other breeds will require other tests such as hip score and elbow scores. The mother should also have a sound vaccination and worming program. Worming should be done before pregnancy. I wormed the puppies from when they were 5 weeks old, and they should be wormed monthly until they are 6 months of age. I took the puppies to my uncle's farm so they could meet other animals and not be frightened. So they met chickens, and it was important for me that they didn't have the chase instinct and that they were very sociable to other animals. Here the puppies are back at my work and they are completely independent and they're just in and out of the puppy pen, and they pretty much did whatever they wanted and played, and I felt it was really safe for them to do so because there was no wires or anything that they could chew on. I was really lucky that the puppies were really fit and healthy and that I didn't have any medical problems. I think a part of that was probably because I made sure that the mum was on a very high quality diet and she received puppy food during her entire pregnancy as well as while she was lactating. A poor diet can predispose to birthing difficulties as well as poor milk production. It's also important to make sure that all breeders have a commercially available colostrum and puppy milk at home just in case there is problems with the milk production. Now the puppies are 8 weeks of age. The little one weighed 1.6 kilos and the red one weighed 2 kilos. They are getting ready to go to their forever home. They got their first vaccine at 8 weeks of age and they were also microchipped. I decided to keep the red dapple puppy because she had bonded so strongly with the mum. The little black and tan puppy was quite independent and liked to have more peace, so she would be better going to a home where she's the only dog and she would get all the attention, and she appreciated more the peace and quiet. At this stage, the mother was starting to wean the puppies of milk. She was quite reluctant to let them drink. However, the puppies had learnt that when the mum was eating, that was their chance to quickly have a nice suckle. At almost 9 weeks, the black and tan puppy left for her lovely new family, and I'm sure that the two sisters will meet again soon. Thanks for watching.